All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Friends and the Bad Guys show. We've been doing a little personnel experimentation, so you're gonna see different faces. Some people out of town, but I got my main man right here, Gary, rocking with me.
For the meanwhile, we'll
You
see.
know, I
With
mean,
all the personnel changes, we don't know.
you're
Tariq was
welcome while you're
here.
here.
He was doing a great job. For some reason, he's not here anymore.
Well,
So
I mean, budgetary constraints too.
right, budgetary
Yeah,
constraints.
yeah, that's what we'll call it. But we're here in Rabble Rousers studio. This is RABB studios.com. Check them out, y'all. Y'all have podcasts, music. This gentleman does it all. So we're gonna kick it off today. We're not gonna do this one as long. Let me see. Do we need to? Is he ready? We are live, right? Okay. Let me let bear with me 1 second. Gary, talk to the people why
So I'll just go through an intro of what we're going to talk about today. Sort of interesting topic. We talked about a couple of different things, and I think there's other topics that we also want to talk about next week that are really good. But this week we're going to talk about dating now versus 20 years ago. Things have changed. Most of our audience, it's some age range in our audience for sure. If my sheet's a little bit older, maybe for example.
yeah, if you're 40 plus, you've seen something change.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah, you know. We kind of want to get into that a little bit. Like there's just so much more that they have out here now that you just didn't have 20, 25 years ago.
And there's certain things that are different in some ways because like we are the way that we are. Like the way I am, I still do the same things I used to do. I always will be. I'll be like 120 years old if I'm still alive, and I'll still do the same thing. If I'm an old single man, I'll I'll do it the way that we used to do it back in the old days. Just go out and do regular stuff.
So,
Even if they change everything
so,
else, I'll
so
still bring my old way into it because that's how I am for the most part. But there's other things that have changed around us that we can't even control.
yeah. But before we get into how they do it now, let's take a trip down memory lane and go back 20, 25 years. What was the dating scene like? What do you remember? What was the
It's just the big difference for me.
and
For
weigh
me.
in, y'all. Weigh in. Show us some love so we can. And also, oh, I forgot. You can call in. The number is 804-921-6988. That's
Yeah, put that on the screen or something.
804-921-6988. Give us a call. 921-6988. And yeah, we want to talk about that a little bit. So is anybody he says we are okay, we are live. Okay, bet. Yeah. So 20, 25 years ago, right? Like, first of all, because it was 20, 25 years ago, we didn't know how it was going to be now.
No.
So we didn't complain about like having to actually go out to the club or the event.
That was just
You know
what
what I
life was
mean?
like. Yeah,
Yeah, you know what I mean. You
get
just,
dressed.
you had to,
And-
you had to,
Yeah.
go. Well, I don't know about you, Gary.
No, we
but
wasted a lot of
I
time.
had to go find me, some nice clothes.
Yeah, that was-
no presentation.
A lot of time was wasted just going to things that I probably didn't really want to go. I mean, I don't mind hanging out with my guy friends too, but I spent a lot of time going to things that in really the main thrust of the effort was to go meet a chick. And I probably wouldn't have done a lot of that. I probably would have done something more chill like back then.
So you weren't necessarily outgoing like that to want to go to venues and spots and like.
Yeah, I generally, I'm an extrovert. I like going out, like
Oh, so
doing
you
stuff.
do? Okay.
Yeah. generally I do like going out and doing stuff, but there was a lot of times where I did it anyway even when I didn't want to. Just because I'm an extrovert and like going out doesn't mean I want to go out all the nights that I went out. A lot of times I went out just because I'm single, alone, got nothing else to do. And I know I'll stay. This is the other thing. It's not about that. It's about the fact that you know you're going to end up staying single indefinitely if you don't go out and meet somebody.
Yeah. And that was the thing too. It's like it was like if you want. It was like it's like hunting, right? Like now, we farm and we can order Uber Eats, but back then you had to go and get your food.
That's right. That's right.
Like
that's right.
if you want some, you got to take your butt on out there.
So
And how you doing? And then let's not even talk about once you get to the venue, right? Because like you weren't. First of all, you didn't have a cell phone to hold on to try to hide your insecurities. Like now you can go someplace and you can act like you got something going on your phone when the whole time you're just uncomfortable or you don't have the social skills to introduce yourself, get
talking
going
to 10 other chicks while you hanging out in front of some other chicks. It could be that too. So
yeah. But the thing is once you got there, it was on you. You still, you had to perform. You had to reach out or be clever, be cute. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. You did. I mean, and a lot of girls. This is another thing. I think we ought to talk about this under this topic of the fact that, like, with time, didn't we always grow up thinking that it was progressively becoming more of a world where women would make the first move? Yeah. Didn't you think that
we thought that was progressive?
We thought that it was changing. We thought that the world was changing, or our culture, our American landscape was changing a bit to the point that women would start making the first move to some extent. That never came to fruition.
Still meaning more so now you kind of see that behavior?
No, not at all. I thought I would.
Oh, you saying that
I thought I would, didn't you?
That women would be more
yeah, you're saying that 30 years, 20 years ago. You're saying 20, I'm trying to think dating age. So you're saying 20 years ago, you didn't think that as time went on, 20 years ago, you didn't think that women in 20 years in the future would be a little bit more like that. The difference between the different genders would be a little bit more even to the point that women would make the first move and feel totally comfortable doing that. And that the whole balance and difference between gender would change.
To be fair, I never really thought it all the way through, but
I just assumed a lot of things would change.
I did kind of assume that it would be different.
Like, I assumed things would change. They haven't changed at all.
But in
that way, in that way, they haven't changed at all.
Well, I mean, it depends on.
Come on, how many times? Maybe it's just me.
I hear a lot of people say, "Man, this female jumped in my DM." I mean, it's not to the degree that guys do.
Okay,
but I think it's.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't Facebook, so I don't know about DMing and all that.
I mean, I don't. Well, I'm sorry, I'm missing Tyreek's comments.
What does Rick say?
Oh, he's talking. Oh, okay. Yeah. So,
but my point is, I thought things were gonna. 20 years ago, I thought things would change, and a lot of things in the world, not just dating, not just the way women are and stuff like that. But I thought a lot would change. It didn't really change. 20 years ago, women are just as whatever. They expect the guy to do all the making the first move kind of stuff,
which
is fine. I don't know. I'm just used to it.
I don't really care.
I grew up at that time, so I'm all right with it. I'm used to it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But what do you miss about it though? Like how it was?
Not much. What do you miss? What do you miss? I don't know if I miss anything.
I kind of do miss the actually going out to the places, trying your hand.
There's nothing stopping you from going out now, though. I still go out now. I go out all the time. When I was living, before I came back to the United States, I was going out every single night. There's nothing stopping you.
No, you're right. I mean, I've been a little bit out of that game for a little while, but
in fact, if anything, DC is a little bit dead. Like nightlife in DC. I mean, to me, it feels like coming back to this country after not being here for a couple of years. I feel like nightlife in DC is a little bit dead. The thing about Baltimore, because I'm a River Terrace person, but the thing about the difference between Baltimore and DC is that Baltimore never really shut down during the coronavirus. It was
Mm,
the streets on the streets. Things were going on constantly, like they always had. Um, in the neighborhoods in West Baltimore, particularly. Um, DC, on the other hand, to me felt a little bit more like a ghost town. I think still in River Terrace, we'd still be out and like doing stuff, but
yeah. Mm.
it felt like it doesn't feel to the DC today doesn't feel like it did back in 2019 to me.
Mm,
What do you
okay.
think?
Nah, it doesn't. But it's hard to, I mean, without, it's kind of hard to say. But my feel is like, yeah, it's a little bit different than how it was. But like again, with the way it is now, like I don't know, maybe I'm hating a little bit because like when I go out now, right? Like when you go out I see so many people already on their phones,
So
right?
you think one of the big problems is
So
that people are literally on their phone while they're out. That's one of the things that you're like.
yeah, I
That's the
mean,
big.
I
That's one
see
of
it
the
all
big
the time,
differences.
and I don't know if
Do you think that stops you? You're a pretty girl, and you want to go like just say like, "Hey, excuse me," because I'm not saying that's not how you. I don't know your approach. I have a feeling. I have a feeling your approach is pretty. You're a really nice guy, so you're probably like, "Hey, excuse me, can I just say hi to you for a second?"
excuse me, girl. Listen,
Hey,
I think
morning.
you suffer from a lack of vitamin me. Come here, girl. No, but seriously, like I, it just the vi- it just it could be in my head, right? But like
Right.
when I'm out and I'm seeing everybody's like on their phones or whatever, and it's weird because it almost feels like you need to walk up to somebody, grab your phone, put it next to theirs, and link up that way so y'all can start having an in-person conversation because they so wired into
I think you can still
you
talk to
know,
people.
like,
I don't really
I don't
believe it
know.
was like that bad. But so Kimberly says, "Look, dating in this area is boring. You got to venture out." Okay, okay, Kimberly,
Dating in this
where's it
area
at? Like, if it's bad here, if the location is the place, where is it like? Where's it happening at? That's what I want to know. It's. I mean, if it's not here in the city, I don't know. I think it's here. It's like, where else would it be? Oh yeah, no, fine. Take a date out of the city. Go somewhere different. Yeah, I'm fine with that. But
How far out? How far out of the city?
hey, yeah, like where you gonna go? Ain't
Oh,
nothing,
okay.
ain't nothing outside the
Look,
city.
look. The producer said Miami, but he on another level. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
We,
I mean, he's a,
I'm thinking like, what you mean, like
he's a big
Montgomery
shot.
County? Like, I mean, what are we talking about here?
Yeah, like Silver Spring.
See, Silver Spring's got some great options for salsa dancing, and I mean,
Outskirts.
just on the okay.
Outskirts of the city. So
Okay,
where is that?
all right, cool.
I know outskirts. I know River
was-
Terrace.
I was like, whoa, she holding
You gotta think of
run that
River
little
Terrace.
card up, huh?
River Terrace. That's outskirts.
That's the outskirts if you're on the south side. I mean,
Yeah.
you're if you're on the south side, that is the outskirts. But yeah, I mean, like
So Kimberly saying take a date River Terrace.
so I happen to know Kim, right?
Yeah.
And she's from the neighborhood.
Yeah, okay,
and
Nothing
actually,
wrong for everyone who's listening, because I know this is the whole World Wide Web. Everyone who's listening, they're probably thinking like River Terrace must be the best place on earth. It must be the coolest place to go. And yeah, that's right.
So
if you're not from DC, you don't know
would
anything about
say-
River Terrace. Yes,
So
that's it.
so I was, but I mean, like Kim remembers, when we were growing up in in the neighborhood and stuff like that. And I mean, we had a lot of fun. It was
yeah.
and you kind of, I think you appreciate. I would say I appreciated meeting people back then because it wasn't so plentiful. So it's like
Right,
when you came
okay.
across somebody, I was like, okay,
Yeah.
you know what I mean. Let me take this seriously because
Sure, because this is somebody, right? Like this is some
you
girl
know, like-
named what's an
yeah,
average
but
name?
like
Some
versus
girl
I
named
just go on
Kate.
my phone and
just
I got
want to go to
20
Kate.
matches and I can
Right.
just run through them like I'm. Oh,
And-
I'll just pick, like.
And Kimberly clarified. Yeah, so we're talking about dating now versus 20 years ago and how it's changed and like whether or not the changes are really significant. to like how we like look at how dating feels and how it is to us, right? Um, and Kimberly had said, take your dates out of the city. And then she clarified and said, just get out of the bar scene. The bar scene is like, it's too much. And I agree. There's something to be said for that. I think that not every date has to be at a bar. There's a lot of things to do. I mean, there's a good restaurant scene here too, and other places as well.
Yeah, yeah. And by the way, Ryan, if you want to call in, we would welcome some female energy for sure. But yeah, we got, since we are like at the age of 40, and some of y'all are barely 40, but this whole thing of
barely 40.
Well, but I'm just saying, but this whole thing of like
early 40s.
Damn, it's things are really different, right? And
so one of the things we didn't talk about is, and this came up from Kimberly's point, it made me think of it, is that the restaurants are better now than they were 20 years ago. I mean, maybe I just didn't go out to the right places 20 years ago. Cool.
Sweet. Yeah, but hello. Yeah, I'm yeah. Hello there. Are you on, Ryan? Sweet. Let me see. Welcome. First off. Something's going on with the reception. Is it my phone? Are you in the area where the reception? Can say again?
Can you hear me now?
A little. It's not ideal, but I can hear you better than what it was. Are you in your basement or something?
No, I'm on an actual house phone, a cordless joint. So
Okay.
Yeah, it just got better.
funny.
Okay.
Can you hear me better?
Yeah.
It just got better.
Okay.
Yeah. So, what do you miss about how things used to be when in the dating scene?
I definitely miss, you can meet people in person when you're out, but I just feel like before things were a lot more organic. You're out with your friends, you meet people, in whatever setting you're in, whether it's school, and you just kind of connect on a personal level and you meet people. But now, and I don't know if it has anything to do with us, being older and out of certain situations, but you mentioned like online dating, like that is very, very common, and it's fine because you can kind of say, oh, I like somebody who looks like this, I like somebody who did this, and you can kind of choose from the list, which is something that you can't do when you're meeting people in person. But it still becomes kind of superficial. I don't think people seem to be serious because they do have way too many options. I just feel like when people have all of these options, it's hard for them to actually take things seriously.
That's a really good point.
Yeah,
because it's on our list.
And you know what, Ryan? I think having all those options makes people lazy too. Because like 20 years ago, right? You wanted to have your act together, right? You put some energy and effort in trying to find things to do and do interesting stuff. But like, imagine if you got a list of all these people. You like, look, I mean, and it could be just a human nature thing, right? With all of those options, you're like, well, maybe I don't. Well, if you got two, you like, look, I'm about to make this work. We gonna do something.
One of these girls.
Right. Like, you want to really make it happen. You met two girls last weekend. One of them called you. That's it.
That's right.
There you go.
Yeah. One of these girls is gonna fall in love
with
you.
Right. You have to go out and book people, as we used to say.
Yes. As a matter of fact, let me see.
Ronald Week said, "I need my options open."
I need my options up. Did Ronald? Did you just try to call in? I'm sorry. No, go ahead. What would you say?
I was going to say I've been actually having this conversation, and this is probably a slightly separate topic, but for me as a woman, when you're dating certain types of men, and they have a lot of options, that's when it becomes very, very interesting.
What type of men?
Because if they're good looking and they're educated and they have money, et cetera, and you want to have a certain type of man, it just becomes very cutthroat.
Ooh,
Gotcha.
Cutthroat. Yes.
But so okay, so there's a sort of, you know how like what's a good analogy? Certain things just balance themselves out naturally, right? Like this is
Hmm.
like prices where supply and demand meet, right? In markets, like this is like, you know, like efficient market hypothesis, or you know, like
Okay,
economic theory is
break
sort
it
of based
down.
on this, right?
Go ahead.
So it's like, okay, if that is to, you're right. If I want to go out with only like supermodels and I can't get one because every other guy wants the same thing, then I'll
Hmm.
I'll go for something that's a little less supermodel. I mean, I don't know. I feel
Hmm.
like
Yeah, and you know what? I just to be sensitive, I want my heart goes out to the females out here in the market, especially in a market like DC, where it's what is it, 10 to
yeah, yeah,
1
yeah,
or
yeah. It's
uh
DC's a unique place.
yeah, you know what I mean?
Because you
Like,
got more women here that got it
yeah,
together.
yeah,
I
it's
said
kind
this
of
last
crazy
week.
too, because
I said this last week.
as
There's
a
more
guy,
eligible
you can be
women
a
here.
little more cocky.
Like, where in the world are there more eligible women proportionate to the amount of men? You got losers like,
And women that are really nice options too.
yeah, and then you got
Yeah.
women who are like really got it together, really sophisticated, smart,
Yeah.
educated, got a good job, got a good life, got everything. And then you got guys like us dummies. Sorry, ladies.
I mean, you know,
That's all you got.
my bad.
Sorry, not sorry.
We're just gonna apologize for the whole lot of them real quick.
Apologize for all of us.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, goodness gracious.
So for all men.
And as let me ask you this. With okay, because and Ryan, fortunately, I happen to know Ryan, right?
Mhm.
So, you know, she's someone who carries
Kimberly
herself
says
with
slim pickings, yeah.
dignity, right?
Mhm.
You know, she's intelligent, highly
Yeah.
educated.
Okay.
You know, her own
Yeah.
boss. Like she, you know, she's a force, right?
Yeah.
Ryan, how do
Thank
you
you.
uh how do you manage like the fact that you know you have this ratio, this 10 to 1, and then
10 to
you
1.
said
Where'd
it's-
you get this
said-
number from? I
well,
haven't heard this
that's
number.
what I've heard, but I mean, you know, it's a much higher number than girls
Sure.
to guys. It's the ratio is it's
The number's not 10 to 1.
well,
I mean, because
I don't know.
I don't know what the number is, but there's
It's pretty
definitely
high.
a lot of,
It's pretty high.
yeah, there's a lot of women here that got together, and I feel like there's not, I don't know.
Yeah, you're killing me, man. Just go with the 10 to 1.
All right.
All right.
All right.
The
6 to 1.
ratio.
Yeah,
That ratio's not right.
ratio, right? So
Um,
say
Ratio's
again.
not right.
Go ahead. What were you saying?
No, I think it is really high though. Google
Okay.
it. Google it right quick. All right. So no, but what I want to know from you is how do you manage like to how are you navigating this whole thing? You know, like you got
How would I navigate it?
no, yeah. How are you navigate like you know, you got the numbers are off, right? And you said it's cutthroat. Like, so how are you dealing with it?
Well, I think that if you're seriously trying to date or you're seriously trying to get married, then you do have to play the numbers game. You have to date a lot. You have to date the type of people that you want. And I wouldn't recommend, you know, women or men settle for something that they just don't want. Like I do feel like some people have standards and qualities that may not quite be, you know, necessary or appropriate, you know, in comparison to themselves, or that, you know, or may just be superficial.
Okay.
But I do think that if you're, you know, if you meet somebody and you literally, you know, you're like, oh, this person is, you know, chasing after me, and I just really don't like this guy. Like, I don't think you have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think you just have to date a lot. You know, you tell your friends you're interested, tell your family you're interested. People will, you know, introduce you,
Oh,
you know,
okay.
to people.
Referral
That always
network.
happens.
Okay.
And
Okay.
if you're, you know, I mean, you know, a nice, you know, young lady or a nice young man, you'll meet somebody eventually. It's just about, you know, another topic, staying together, or even, you know, like I said, you might meet somebody who you feel, you know, especially for the women with this ratio thing. I don't think we go out and look and we're like, oh, let me see, I'm number 10. Maybe he'll pick me. But I think that, you know, when you are dating men, sometimes they may be dating several other people. And so they may like a woman, they may like this woman, but as soon as some other woman catches their eye with something this other lady doesn't have, it's like they're on to the next.
Yeah,
And so that's kind of what the dating, market looks like now. I think if people sat around and really talked about it, they would notice that possibly is the case. And then, like I said, the other part of it is that some people have standards that, may need to be reevaluated.
Yeah. No, it makes sense.
If they want love.
I looked it up, and
He said, this ain't my girlfriend. We just eating crab legs. Oh, we just had a comment on
what
Ryan.
did we come up with?
Say again.
Is that a non sequitur? I don't get that. Where'd it come from?
Yeah,
No, I saw he said it, but I saw Ron
yeah,
said it.
yeah. That was funny how he threw that in there.
Okay.
So oh wow, cheeks chasing only. Okay. All right. So okay. So and this will be the last one, and I'll let you go. I appreciate you coming on, but
Okay.
what like with this with the way the dating scene is going now, right? What advice would you have for the guys who also are still a part of this nonsense in a sense? I mean, like, how would you want them to approach you in this current dating market?
What are the guys doing?
How would I want them to approach me?
I mean, like, yeah, what would you like to see from the guys in this market today? Like, what would you like to see?
Well, effort for sure.
Okay.
You want the same things we were looking for when we were little kids. You're in middle school and the boy brings you one single rose, and that's super cute. Nowadays, we want you to come up with dates. We want you to be respectful. We want you to be kind. We want you to be a gentleman, open the doors. We want those traditional things. So just come to us with a traditional, respectful demeanor, good conversation, and a passport. No, I'm just kidding.
Ooh, okay. Got the little passport.
They don't sound really hard to do, though. Be respectful.
Ryan, one of the ones you're going to take out of town.
Yeah, right. Yeah, she's. Yeah.
But yeah, be respectful. But I think it depends on what you're looking for, though. Like if you're talking about guys who are actually looking for somebody to share something meaningful, beautiful and long term with, then the biggest thing is to actually show effort and really try to get to know that person, that young lady, as a person, to have a real connection.
Okay. Appreciate you, sis. Definitely added to the conversation there. I'm gonna keep some of those pointers in mind. I hope some of the listeners, the other thing too is maybe there's somebody that's tuning in that's like, oh yeah, I guess I could do a little more than, well, I texted you.
Yeah, no.
You know what I'm saying?
So what you doing, WYD, the WYT text, or you good morning me to death, and you have no more conversation for the rest of the day. You have nothing to talk about except for, it's not attractive.
Yeah, exactly.
And the thing about it is that guys do that, they send a what you doing and a good morning about, however many women, like.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And I guess try to see who's going to catch on.
Yeah, they didn't messed up the good morning beautiful. Now you got to come with something else.
Right. We love the good morning beautiful, but we want it to be genuine.
Well, yeah, but
now we want to follow it up with something. We want to follow it up with a date.
Yeah. But it's actually so widely used now that now I'm looking for other languages to say it in, like.
Yeah,
buongiorno.
And then pick up the phone.
You know what I mean? I'm trying to get creative over here, but. Yeah, no doubt. I appreciate you calling in, though.
All right, guys.
All right, I'll talk to you
soon. All right, bye.
All right, bye.
So the stats were 53 women to 47 men. This is 2019.
Okay. Well, that's a lot.
Article by WMU. Yeah.
That's still a lot. Yeah, plus I hear, I don't know. I've had personal conversations with females where they they'll say in a lot of the places where they actually want to go, like nice upper scale places, the ratio is crazy.
So what do you mean?
imbalance.
So like when you go
Like,
out and there's a lot of singles out, it'll be a lot of women
yeah,
to a few men.
yeah. And I mean, for me, I mean, you know,
Where are these
I'm a
boys
little
at?
selfish, so I get
But
in.
yeah,
I'm like,
where are these at? You know where they're at, Bahid. This is
You
stuff,
know,
this is stuff you
but-
know about. Like, tell me.
but no, but I mean, because we want to, you know, we talking about some of the differences and wanting to be fair about the whole, you know, the whole thing. So that's kind of where this is coming from. You know what I
Okay.
mean? But something else came up earlier. You asked a question about Netflix and chill, right?
When did that? I was saying, when did that start? Because
When did Netflix and chill
I called him to the late. I didn't.
that become like a thing, not like a
Yeah, I kind of meant just like
because it was.
the
I feel like it
term,
was
like
always.
no, it's
just-
always an option. Like,
Yeah.
always an option. Like, let's go home and put it in the VHS. I'm just kidding.
As a matter of fact, if Ronald Weeks on
DVD.
this, call him real quick. Let me see.
She wants me to quote her negative. I like to
I like
shoot.
I don't even. What is you going to break?
No,
Call
no.
him real quick.
Yeah,
804-921-6988. You're gonna get some clarity from Mr. Weeks on this right here. Let's see. Is he calling? Is he coming through?
He's like, no,
I might have to call him. Let me see. Okay, there we go. Mr. Weeks,
Nah, this Spoon, yo.
welcome to the show, bro.
Bienvenidos.
What's happening, man?
What's going on?
Man, I'm cool, man. Just sitting back, listening to what y'all talking about.
Yeah, so you know, I know you've been in the game for a little while. We came up together.
Right.
What is there anything you miss about how it used to be? Is that you on the other line?
Yeah.
You
What
want me
I
to
was
click
thinking
over?
was, huh?
You want me to click over? That's you on the other line.
Nah, that ain't me on the other line. That must be somebody else.
Oh, I'm sorry. Who am I talking to? Who called that? Who was this?
Yeah, this Spoon, man.
Oh, man. I'm sorry. Because I just said Weeks called in and I saw his number. My bad. What's up, Spoon?
Man, everything, man. What's happening?
Oh man, man, listen. This is my first week, man. My bad. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
don't
Weeks,
worry
if you
about
can
it,
hear me, man. You next on here, bro. My bad. Go ahead, Spoon.
Yeah, so I mean, just the question that he asked, what do I miss? I kind of like miss the chase a little bit, right? Because like now everything is just like Instacart, Instagrams, back page, all that. It's just like everything is right there.
Yeah.
You ain't even really got to hunt hard no more.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And that's on both sides.
Yeah.
A chick could go on her phone and pick one of the dudes that liked their picture that day, and then if she put it out there, dude might take it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just that easy now.
So it
So
felt
ain't
more
nobody really loyal to nothing but their own personal gains, though.
So
that's why the dating thing messed
more
up.
like an accomplishment before when you actually had to
Yeah,
go.
because you felt like
You
you
made it
earned
work.
it, like
Yeah.
when you know.
Yeah, back in the day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now is I like 13 of your pictures and send you 2 hearts or good morning, fool. Shit, we go together out
Yeah,
this month,
exactly. Exactly.
We talked about 10-year-old pictures.
So it's
too.
corny now.
Yeah.
It's real corny now. And it's like, I think the people, let's say 40 and up, they should know better. But
What you would think, right? But you know what problem?
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But
That's why I said it should.
Yeah, but you know what may have happened, man? Like, even when okay, you get the 40-year-olds or whatever, but after a while, when you in an environment and everybody else is doing certain things, maybe you pick that up too, and you
Yeah, you have to
become
play that
progressively
game.
more
You
lazy
have
just
to-
because.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to
You know,
play the
'cause
game
like-
Because
environment's
it's a
giving you.
sign of the time.
Yeah,
Believe me,
But
I know that
know-
from Australia. It's yes.
I'm gonna say something heavy. Y'all could disagree with it or agree with it, right? You really want to know why the truth? What I think the truth is about why the dating scene so messed up.
Go ahead.
Because it's a lot of broken people out here, man. That's scared to admit that they broken, right? So you can't put 2 broke things together and hope it's gonna be like a whole piece all the time. Sometimes the glue not strong enough to hold it together.
Yeah.
So once people start taking accountability and knowing that they broken and get some help to figure that out, then they could be better people in relationships. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. So, Spoon, to be honest with you, bro, like I kind of wanted to start getting into that aspect of some of these conversations, but
Yeah.
I really didn't know if that would be going too deep into the weeds and if we would even have an audience. Because, once you start really getting into that kind of thing, then people start looking at themselves and say, well, damn,
not too
you
deep.
talking about me now. I don't even know. I want, you know what I mean?
But
I appreciate
guess
you
what,
saying
though,
that,
bro?
though, because
No, I don't
at the
think
end of the day, that's the
Mhm.
essence of the issues that we have today.
I don't think that's too deep. I think people can relate to it. I think they'll get it. I think they'll want to hear about it, want to talk about it.
Let me
That's what I think.
see some comments on it. Let me see some comments to make sure we on the right page.
And please don't chop my head off nobody. I was just speaking my opinion.
You're right. I mean, that's absolutely right. Everything you're saying is
speech free.
true.
As a matter of fact, I'm practicing it. I make a practice to say something to try to get canceled. I wish they would.
Hey,
I wish our 4 subscribers would roll out, and lose the sponsorship deal
The sponsorship.
from Kilmo Lemonade. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, the
I wish they
sponsorships.
would.
because one thing, watch this, y'all. The one thing that's the common denominator in all of our failed relationships is us. And so it ain't never always the other person's fault, right?
Right.
So until
It's
we
rarely
take
everyone's
accountability for the things that we
Chelsea,
do
real,
in
okay.
relationships, when we take responsibility of the things we do in relationships, we know when we look in that mirror if we was been 10 toes down in this relationship or not.
Yeah.
So if you ain't been 10 toes, how can you expect 10 toes to be put down on that other side?
Mm.
So then whole time y'all just playing the game with each other. See who catch who first. Who
Yeah.
wants to be in that?
Yeah.
No, a lot of things are a
Yeah.
mirror. A lot of things that look like somebody else are
That's-
a mirror.
Yeah.
Man, listen. It doesn't.
My bad, because I normally be joking a lot.
No, but and I appreciate you either way. But just know this, like
Mhm.
I mean, for the few more minutes that we have left, I kind of want to go down that road just because,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
honestly, man, like, and we could talk about me. Like, I know for
Yeah.
a fact that any issues I've had in relationships, I can point all of the fingers at me before we even get to the other person.
Yeah,
You know what
even
I
the
mean?
things that I
'Cause-
don't think are my fault are things that I really haven't been able to understand. You know how I've talked about like my
Yeah,
own
yeah.
stuff. The things that I don't recognize as being me or things that I don't fully understand. It means at least I'm
You just
I'm
didn't
not saying
see
like
it.
I'm perfect. I'm just trying to say like I'm open to trying to understand them more because I don't really get it. The things I do get, I realize are my fault.
Yeah, and
You know what I mean? Or at least
that's
at least I got
mature
part
to
in
say
it.
that, right?
I have a
And-
part
and-
in it. That's what I'm trying
and
to say.
thank
So-
you, Spoon, for laying that on us because I think for some of these subsequent episodes, man, I want to kind of start to talk about a little bit of that more because that's that's
because-
what's underneath the surface. Until you deal with
Yeah.
those kind of issues, I mean, all the rest of this is cool, but I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't,
But just like
don't-
the young lady who was speaking, right? And there's some of the things that she says that she would like to see how men should do these things and this and that. But that's all fine, well and good. But if a person wasn't taught that, or they've been, let's say, scarred by doing those type things, they might be reluctant to do it. So sometimes you gotta understand why people don't know or do what they do. It's probably a reason behind that. So I mean, I just wish everybody find that special person that they can ride out the rest of their life with and enjoy it happily. But I mean, the way the dating scene looks, I mean, you might as well play the lotto. They might as well turn the dating scene to the lotto. If you get 3 wives, you win one. That's it.
I still.
But man, I appreciate y'all fellas having me on, man. Y'all
Yeah.
enjoy the rest of y'all
Yeah.
show. I'm
No.
gonna be tuning in more, man.
Yeah, no doubt, man.
Yeah.
Thank you for
That's great.
for blessing us with that. And we're gonna be doing this on Wednesdays, man. So you're welcome to come through and be a part of the conversation whenever you want to. And also I know you're doing some major things with your comedy and stuff like that. So if you got something
Yes,
you want
sir.
to plug, you let us know.
Yeah, I'm doing Easton High School alumni cookout this weekend. It's gonna be in Crofton, Maryland. You can look me up on Facebook if you need Tonio Stewart if you need more information about it. But yeah, it's gonna be at Eastern High School, little jamboree. I'm going back to show some love to the school that helped make me the comedian I am. So
That's what's
it is
up.
what it
That's
is.
what's up. That's right. So that's and one more time. That's Eastern
Alumni
Alumni
cookout.
Cookout.
Yeah, this
Crofton.
Saturday.
And what's your page so they can link up with you?
Tonio Tonio
Tonio
Stewart Stewart.
Okay, Tonio Stewart. Okay, cool. Bet. Appreciate you, fam.
All right, man. I see y'all, man. Y'all keep dropping knowledge, man. Somebody gonna pick it up.
No doubt, bro. Appreciate you, bro.
D.
All right, now I'm about to call. Weeks on here. So yeah, that was getting into it with Spoon a little bit, you know.
Right.
Yeah. It's Brother Weeks.
Yeah, man, can you hear me?
Yeah, my apologies early. I didn't Spoon had called in before I just before you had called. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up, bro.
Yeah. So there was something you were saying earlier. I missed it. I wanted to make sure we I included you.
I think you were saying things used to be more organic. Right?
What you say, bro?
You were saying things used to be more organic.
Was that?
You think? No, I didn't say things used to be organic, but they did used to be more organic back in the day.
Yeah. So nowadays, with it being so easy to meet females and that kind of thing, what's your experience nowadays?
My experience, man, is that it's way easy nowadays, man. Like you can run up on somebody, man, nowadays in a bar, church, grocery store, barbershop.
So he's
come on. I mean, that's what you want to do. Come on.
So what he's saying is things still are really organic, easy or more. You think it's easier to meet girls in real life than just online and stuff like that?
Man, I've always met girls organic. I mean, that's what I do.
That's great.
I meet them organic. I don't have, like I told Bob before, I don't have problem meeting women.
Yeah.
I never had.
Yeah. But let me ask you this: now that with this environment that we have, do you find that women are not taking guys as serious as they used to?
I think that I think more men are not taking women serious now.
Well, we definitely kind of got that. But I'm wondering, like, because if I was a female and these guys are, playing all these games and doing all this kind of stuff, I'm starting to wonder, if I was a female, would I even be taking guys as seriously? You know what I mean? Like, would there be some more hoops that they would need to jump through to, I mean, I can't speak.
Yeah, I keep mine jump through.
I keep
mine jump through. You know what I'm saying? They gotta jump through for me.
Say again.
You know what I mean? They gotta jump through hoops to get with me.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I don't really do all the women. You know what I'm saying? They gotta jump through for me first and foremost and show me where they at. And I show them where I'm at. I'm not one to not show my hand. I'm more so show me where you are. Show me where you're vested in me. You gotta be vested in me. You gotta show me where you have my back. Because I'm gonna have your back.
So how do you? So that's under the assumption that she already knows that you are gonna do your part or have her back too, or like, because initially, you know how you
we dating, right? So we dating or we meeting each other and all that type of stuff. So as we go through the formalities, you know what I'm saying? The stuff that you go through when you meeting women, you putting your cards on the table, she putting her cards on the table, and y'all digging each other vibe and all that type of stuff. And then from there you go forward. You know what I mean? And hopefully y'all build something. But if not, then it is what it is. You move on to the next one.
On to the next one. Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, the question you asked me, you asked me something different. I can give you a different answer. You know what I'm saying?
No. I want you to answer it how you see fit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really play around with women. You know what I'm saying? I don't really play around with them far as like when I meet them, I try to get to know them and get into their sphere and get into their aura and deal with that. And then from there, I go for the juggler at that point.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
I go hard at that point. Okay, she's feeling me, she's digging me, she like me. I'm going hard now. And then from there, hopefully we build something. If we don't, then I go to the next one.
Okay.
See, it's easy. Like I said, dating is easy. Like people make too much out of it. You know what I mean? You can have a million jobs, or you can be a master. I think I can get anybody but a doctor. I can get a doctor if I want to. I was in her circle. You know, her circle of influence. If I'm in a room with her, I can get her. I can get anybody. I can get any woman I want.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
Well, give us an
You
example.
know,
of
as long as they give me some conversation, I can get it.
I don't think he heard you.
Yeah, give us an example of what people do to overcomplicate it.
So what, sir?
Give us an example of what people do to overcomplicate it.
That overcome.
No, to overcomplicate things.
No, he was asking for an example.
Overcomplicate things. Overcomplicate things. Right. So say the sister we had earlier. Right. Her name's Ryan, right?
Yeah, right.
Ryan, yeah.
So Ryan was like, so you want these guys, these women? I guess she was talking about other women, how you gotta have your education together, you gotta have money, all these different things, these status symbols that people be wanting. That's overcomplicating things. If you really want to deal with somebody, if you really like somebody, then like that person. You can just like that person, and y'all can build from there. Because most women can build men back up to a certain level.
You think? See, I don't know about. I don't know about that one.
No. I mean, far as like say, a woman she might be on her feet. You might not be on your feet, but if she dig you enough, she will help you come up. If she like you enough.
Yeah, to an extent, but I think that where Rye's coming from is she's saying, you know, like with online dating nowadays, you can filter. So
online dating, you can do
filter. You can just filter for a lot of characteristics.
Yeah. They doing some bullshit on online dating. You're right. I used to clown people that did online dating. I met a girl years ago. She was like, "Well, I'm going on online dating. I forgot which website it was." And I feel some kind of way about that. You really gonna go out there and meet somebody on online dating, as opposed to you can meet somebody right there in your face.
I agree. Well,
It makes sense to me.
So here's the other side to online dating, and this is something that Bahish and I were talking about prior to the show, like right before the show. We were talking about the thing when you meet somebody in real life, you don't got to worry about whether or not their picture is 10 years old because people play a lot of games online, and it's really
no
annoying.
doubt.
And all the other stuff that Rye's talking about too, about the guys that like seem qualified, a lot of it can be a bunch of made up BS jargon too. It might not be real. I don't know.
Yeah, because online I'm great. You know, online, you know, my doctorate,
professional baseball player or whatever. You know?
You know what I mean? And my Lambo's in the shop, you know, online, you know.
No doubt. No doubt. I feel like that they complicated just all the standards that they set. You know what I'm saying? Because you might meet somebody that may, in his past, may have been on top of the world, but now he's back home, or whatever the case. Took a little vacation, he's back home, and now he's trying to come back up and be a protective citizen. A lot of women don't see these men, or they might be like, "Oh, he got this. No, he don't have no car." Because I started out with no. When I came back home, I started with no car, no nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I worked my way all the way back up, and I'm not far from getting my own house right about now. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And I worked my way through the trenches. And I bad relationships, good relationships, all of that. I did it all.
Okay. So in your case, you're saying if a woman is really into you, then she has to appreciate that and deal with you on your merit while you
know your worth, Kate. Yeah, know your worth.
Okay.
A man gotta know his worth. A man gotta know his worth.
Okay.
I know who I am, but you know me from back in the day, so I know my worth.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So when I go to a woman, I don't go in there looking like, acting like I need her. I don't need her.
Well, I mean, because needy is the fastest way to propel somebody.
And Rye's point is like, hey, look, if you're 40 years old, you're busy, you got a lot going on in your life, you don't really have time to build somebody up like a project. Like,
Yeah,
It's like
and
a
see,
model car. You don't
and
got
see-
time for that. And I get that.
Yeah, and see, the thing is all of this is individual specific, right? Because like if you do have, you got a career, you got all these things going on, the time that other person may require, you might not have that time.
Right.
Right.
Plus, you're already 40. So, I
And-
mean, people are set in their ways. The other side of what Rye's saying is people are already at 40 years old. People are set in their ways to an extent. They're harder to change than they are when they're 19, 20 years old, right? I mean, right?
Okay.
No doubt, no doubt.
So-
She definitely got a valid point there.
Yeah.
I just like myself personally. I'm like, nah. Either you mess with me or you don't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Regardless of what 40 years down the line or whatever the case may be, either you messing with the boy or you ain't. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Straight up. And that way we can cut through the chase because I don't need them. I don't need them. You know what I'm saying? If you don't want to deal with me, I don't need you. So I don't like I said, I don't have a problem with women. And I don't have a problem with dating. If I want to date, I date. You know what I'm saying? But I choose not to date right now because I don't need nothing from nobody. I'm trying to get myself back up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You want to do it yourself. I respect that.
Yeah, I get that's what I'm at. But you know how we talk. I'm on my own mission now. I feel great. You know what I'm saying? I feel great. But right now, like if they come to me now, I'm like, man, stress me with that. Unless you got some money.
And I think that I think your points are really good and interesting too, because what you're really saying is that nowadays you still just because nowadays 90% of people meet online or something like that doesn't mean you have to. And you can skip a lot of the BS and a lot of the nonsense by meeting somebody in the real world. It's not impossible.
No, not at all. Not at
Like,
all. Not at all. I want to get Weeks. Thank you for adding to the conversation, bro. I appreciate you. We're going to wrap this thing up. I had one more person. I wanted to just have him say something for a minute, and then we're going to wrap this thing up.
Yes, sir.
That's cool, bro.
I appreciate you, bro.
I appreciate you, man. We'll talk soon.
All right, no doubt.
All right. We have one more caller. I want to get him in, brother Kev. I'm about to call you now. All right. You still with us, Kev? You there?
Yo, Bob, what's good?
What's going on, man? We were running a little short on time, but I mean, I appreciate you calling. I wanted to get you in real quick. Did you have something you wanted to add to this particular topic?
Yeah, Bob, what's good?
Kev,
Yeah, I did. Ken.
turn your phone down a little bit.
I'm turning my TV down. Yeah.
Oh, it's a TV? Okay, that's okay.
Yeah, look here. We all like my man Antonio said before, we come from broken relationships. So it's kind of harder when you get older to sit and date and all that stuff. Just that on up. And I'm just speaking from experience, especially with me and my wife.
Yeah.
We both came from broken relationships. And, when we got together and it got to a point that, hey, it basically came to the point of, look, if you tired of the dating scene and all this stuff, then it's the buck stops here. Because we seen within each other how we can grow with each other, whatever the case may be.
You said the buck stops here?
The buck stops here.
Okay.
So at that point, here we are 10 years later, with actually 15 years later, 10 years of marriage. 10 years of marriage. And here it is, throughout whatever we went through in regards to the point that we are right now.
Mm-hmm.
We 10 years of marriage strong, 15 years later, whatever the case may be, strong.
Okay.
We're greater today than we were the day that we met. Because actually, through our relationship,
you went out for a second there.
You
said through our relationship, what?
Through our relationship made us stronger to where we are right now 15 years later.
Okay.
So like I said, 10 years of marriage, moving on, celebrating that real soon in October. We are who we are.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you got to understand within your own self, to understand that the stuff that you go through makes you a better person. And those experiences make you the person that you are today. And that's just the bottom line with it.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Kev. Definitely appreciate that. And now that this whole thing about the broken issue has come up, I think we're going to discuss that in some of the future episodes, man, because we kind of want to, like I don't want to play therapist, but I have certainly set in on my share of therapy and what have you. So I appreciate that, man. We gonna wrap this thing up, bro. I hope you can tune in with us next week. I'm gonna try to get some of this information out to y'all beforehand about what topics and so forth. We just this is new for us, and we trying to find our wings to make this work. But I appreciate you, and tune in next week. And on that note, let me see. Did we missing anything? Oh yeah. Again, Rabble Rouses Studio is where we are. Okay, we got the producer extraordinaire J Rock in the building, holding this thing down. This is the only way we can make this work is with this brother right here. His website is RABBSTUDIOS, Rab Studios. Get there, okay? And I think that's about it. Did you have anything you want to wrap up?
No, we talked about a lot.
Next week we'll have our regular posse. We're a little light today, and trying to get things going and everything. But definitely appreciate y'all tuning in. Ryan, for the call in, Spoon, Weeks, appreciate y'all. And next week, anybody else wants to call in, you're more than welcome to. Okay, that's it. Bye-bye.